Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for another true tale from our Tell Me a Story series, presented by Open Door Theater. We hope you enjoy this story, written and read by Neil Gregersen.
Hi, I'm Neil Gregersen. I'd like to tell you a story. The Hat. The breeze swirled around the boy and tugged at the sleeves of his light spring jacket. He looked up at the drifting clouds, pointed, and laughed. His father glanced briefly from the road and agreed with his son. It was a beautiful day. From a distance, it would have been difficult to spot the boy sitting on his father's lap. The bulk of the man surrounded the tow-headed 2-year-old as the farm tractor navigated down the narrow country road. The wagon swayed behind, weaving between drainage ditch-lined fields. The winter rye was just showing as the spring runoff kept the buried tiles in the roadside culverts full of cold, snow-melted water. The frogs, just emerging from the mud bed of another winter's rest, stopped and started their light spring song as the farmer's rig passed. Red-winged blackbirds swayed from last year's cattails, while a hawk glided above. The boy looked down at the road, watching it run by the man-high tires of the red Massey Ferguson. He clapped his hands together in delight. The flutter of a pheasant pulled his eyes to the cascade at the side of the road where a cluster of leaves captured his attention. He heard the angry gushing and looked up as the cluster dropped from the ditch into a wider, deeper swollen stream. The water rushed upon it and tore it apart. The boy laughed, watching the leaves float away under a low-railed bridge. The boy, on impulse, reached up, grabbed his father's hat, and so the spirited swing sailed it into the surging rapids, which caught the hat and swiftly carried it under the span. The youngster started as the tractor lurched to a halt. He found himself carried to the edge, picked up by his heels, and swung out over the creek. There was a moment of panic as he watched the muddy current swirling under him. He looked up to his ankles, to his father's hands, to his father's face. The fire in the man's eyes was command enough, and the boy quickly dropped his chin to peer under the bridge. The hat was there, tipping, turning on the surface, tugged in several directions. As it darted toward the boy, he extended both hands to catch it. Little fingers grasped the weathered brim, and little arms pulled it up. The world turned again, this time upright, and the boy swung into his father's arms and then to the ground. "Give me the hat, and if you ever want to ride with me, you'll never do that again. Understand?" The boy nodded and extended the hat. The man grabbed it, shook the moisture off, and crammed it on his head. Turning, the 2-year-old looked over the railing and relived his fear. The swirling water had already forgotten the hat. In the ditch, it solemnly tugged at the remnants of last summer's grass and tumbled out of sight.